G'day. Okay, I got some questions and no answers, maybe. So, why would there be videos about a discovery that NASA had where they crashed a satellite into the moon and they noticed that all the bubbles on the moon were actually quite shallow, and those craters and stuff, they're not what you think they are. Turns out that those craters are bubbles from a sun that was cooking. So the salts, see what happened was, in the old days there was a guy in the Bible that was like Moses. And what he did was he got these iron balls, giant iron balls, 2 of them, and he wanted to make the earth like an atom. Okay, so atom. Okay, and what happens is, for every molecule, so it became a molecule. He knew it was a molecule, but he knew that there was these atoms flying around him, around the molecule. So what he did was he created 2 iron balls, which one will fall into the sea, collect salt on its surface, but then it'll dry all that liquid salt that was attached to it, and it will cause it to be any kind of thing that salt can change into. There's 2 kind of things that salt can change into. Either it turns into sulfide, which is like turning into sulfur, which is something that is a component of gunpowder, or it can turn into a hydroxide, which is like hydrochloric acid. So one is sulfuric acid, one is hydrochloric acid. Now when they come together, they blow up like dynamite. Now if you've got a surface that's covered in any matter, it can be burnt. So over time, it would happen that it would start producing fuel for itself. It would collect enough, over one night it could go and refuel. So if they had 2 of them at opposite polarities, as long as that's it, they'll just keep apart from each other. But it might actually be the very truth of 2 sames repels. Okay, so why do everyone go to church and pray to a God they can't see? Guess what happens when you watch the church channel? You see them singing and everything, and they're worshipping, and they got these pictures of snow and sparkles and stuff going up into the air. That's like they're giving their energy up to the magnetic ball in the sky. So why is it that Mars is a very iron planet as well? So you've got to ask yourself, why did Tesla come up with a copper coil that has some transistors that can control the amount of volts that go through, but it turns out that copper can be a battery? Why does it emit out of aluminium? Well, aluminium's a higher forced mineral, so it's more transmittive. They discovered what radio waves are, and that's why there's many windings on the coil. So you've got a invention invented by an old chap that's probably passed away now. He used to use copper to transmute energy or transmit energy to himself to heal him. And he had these big ass windings, like real huge, and they're just going around. He wound them all counterclockwise, because he had an enemy who produced DC energy, and he thought, well, there's AC and then there's DC. So they were enemies. And all the electricity transmits now as AC, but it changes to DC. That's the big old secret. Now, why has electricity got anything to do with anything? Why does the moon have a big ball out of underneath the surface? If you take take off the salt or the dust or the chalk, whatever it collected, take all that shit off, and you just have a big shiny ball. And it's not just one. So it's proof that that big ball goes somewhere, and it not only does it collect salts, but it holds on to them like rock. It's like icing sugar that's gone hard. And it's conductive. And also, because of its sulfides and so forth, other things like phosphorus and stuff, it produces them electrolytically, and it can be ignited. So that's how you get another sun working. So we've got probably two suns, but one keeps on going snuffed out. Why? Whenever they get too close to each other, one of them goes out of phase and it becomes the moon. And if they ever get close to each other, they'll both snuff out. And that's a fucking stupid thing. So they'll get apart, but their weight, generally the weight of them, will cause them to drop into the black hole that goes right through the earth. They've got this guy, his name's Sam, something like that, I can't remember exactly, but he flies a UFO and cleans that tunnel to make sure that the humans always get the sun. But he has the hungover days and you don't see any sun really. Some days that you just, he just like, fuck, it must be a machine sort of thing. We will get some days where the sun will come close to each other. It's hardly ever that we get two suns on the same sky. It's a rare thing, but it's a possibility. I have sometimes seen two shade angles, and I thought, far out. Both suns have caught on fire, because it's neither a sun or a moon. It's just an iron ball, but it gets ignited, and it does snuff out when you put it in water. So weight will cause whether it's a heavy sun or not, it's just an iron ball. It's just going to fall into the sea, plop into the old creator of time, the Bermuda Triangle, and then it'll come out the other side, pop out of a volcano, and boost up in the sky because heat rises. So what has that got to do with anything? It's just something. I saw a video today about, they discovered that it's a ringing bell, and they knew that's really cool. So our planet had a wise guy that decided to keep the trees alive on it. Otherwise it would just disintegrate, turn into diamonds and turn into dust, and then it'll just blow away. Or it'll turn into silica and that'll smash and probably just blow away anyway. There had to be a way to anchor us to our core, because our core could be an electric ball, a big iron ball as well, but because of its diamagnetism, it could be repelling instead of attracting. But then why is the moon still attracting? Well, the moon goes through friction. So whether it becomes a sun or whether it becomes back into a drawing moon, turned off moon, it's going to still have weight factor and influence